Here we are. Welcome back to the channel. It's Paul here. Old guy lifts, still on the bands. This is band training part 2. So last time we saw bands with the squat. I used the short bands and attached the pins. There are shorter bands and then there are longer bands. The shorter bands provide more tension the way that I use them, so I like to use them more than the longer bands. Although I do use the longer bands for other things. We'll get into that in future videos. This is warming up. Using the football bar, again, just varying the grip. Not out to have the biggest bench in the known universe. Out to have big upper body pushing strength. So I use a variety of grips. I love the parallel grip. It's easier on the shoulders to change grips. I use a narrow grip here. I use the wider grip as well. You'll see that in a few minutes. But today is all about the bands, not the bar. Notice these are the light bands. Last video we used the green bands, which were monster mini bands. These provide, gotta be easy, 50% more tension. Now the stroke is shorter because I'm not squatting this. I'm not standing. I don't think I could squat this. If you extend those bands too much, it's just so much tension. It's gotta be at the top 70 pounds plus, maybe more. You know, there's a band on each side, obviously, so. Football bar is slightly heavier than the Olympic bar, so I don't think it's 50 pounds, though, over 45 pounds. And you've got a bumper on each side, so it's only one. Oh, and there's a dime on the inside. I use the dime as a collar so that the light bands don't jump over the collar of the football bar itself. So there's a dime on the inside, so that's 155, and there is tension on the bottom. At the top, who knows, 230 maybe? And I keep adding weight here. This was meant to be a repetition day, but I felt good. And I did something stupid here. I sort of came off. Every day, you can't destroy yourself every time you're in the gym. You can do it once in a while. But if you do too much, you just cost yourself future workouts. And I think I may have done that here. So I'm going to take an extra day off here in between push workouts. The band tension is easy to overdo. It is different than gravitational pull, if you will. That elastic tension is really, really tough to overcome, especially when there's as much of it as there is here. So I did 3x3 of the football bar press with the inner grip. This is the outer grip. Hits a little bit more of the chest, a little bit less of the triceps. I had levies on this bar. This is a real shoulder shaver too, so you got to accommodate your body and sort of take what it will give you. And if I keep just benching and benching and benching, and especially with the full stroke, if I'm on the bench and I lower the ball all the way down every time, I really get an uncomfortable stretch in the front anterior part of my shoulder, in the front part of my shoulder, that is not good. I've learned after decades. So by stopping shy of that, I can take a lot of the torque off whatever's going on in that joint. All right, here's another dime on each side, so we're up to 175. But this is a great, if you're plateauing, if you're stuck, hell, you had a bad day at work, you fight with your woman, your man, whatever, and you just want extra tension, something to fight through. This is a great thing to throw at your nervous system because it is different. The feeling is pretty different. So I'm now down to doubles here. And I stick with the wide grip. I don't hit my chest enough, or actually I do for me, for my goals, but I don't hit it much, I should say. So I'm hitting it here. I'm using the wider grip of the two grips here. There's actually a third grip, a very narrow grip that's at an angle. Almost like what's that called, a Swiss bar. All right, this is 195. This is, again, with the band tension. I'm unracking 270 at the top, maybe. So here's a double. And then I think I could do 20 more pounds. But I just hit it for a single. Now notice here, because I'm used to going with a narrow grip, your arms are longer. Obviously, they're more perpendicular. they are to your body. The more you spread yourself out, the less travel that you can go, the shorter your bench stroke is, or squat stroke, or whatever it is you're working on. So I could barely unrack this because I didn't move the J cups down to accommodate the wider grip. And that's where I really just got the one. I was nervous about being able to rack the weight if I fatigued myself. Ah, wow, that was not good. So there you go. That may have been 285 at the top, 290, maybe. And after this, I lower the J cups one level. Yeah, you see that there? See how the bar is more in frame? And then I start doing back off sets. I never used to. But again, the glory of, working out and experimenting with your bodies, you kind of get to do whatever you want that makes sense to you. So I turn this into a sort of a hybrid volume, and not really a max effort day because I did so much volume, but I worked up to a heavy single, so a high stress day, we'll say. High volume and high stress, which again is something I really didn't do a lot of. I think it's a bad idea to do that too much, but I almost never do it, so I did it, and that'll be okay. So I'm going to take an extra day off, and then I'm going to go back to the free weights. I've done 2 or 3 of these banded workouts, and that's it. I'm going to, in a month, I'll be a minimum month before I put them on again. I think it really hits hard. Whenever I push, I like to pull, keep the shoulders healthy. So I try to do it on the same plane, although sometimes I'll end with pull-ups. I think pull-ups is probably the best overall exercise I can do for shoulder health because it really moves the scaps around a lot. Really makes the scaps strong, especially if you pull your chest up to the bar. So this is the football bar. I've never done these before, and I wanted to try them, so I kept the weight light. This is, oh, you know what? This isn't 165. This is just 135. That's a misprint. I'm not going to change it. So it's easy to, I've got to be cognizant of where my knees are here because that bar is so wide at the bottom. Well, it's so wide that at the bottom it could clank my knees on the way up. So I'm a little bit timid with it. So I'm just kind of pumping out. That was 12 reps. Then do another dozen. And then I think I got 8. My back got pumped up a little bit here. So again, a different angle, slightly different effect. It's good to mix it up a little bit. Specificity is king in sports, but for general strength, you need a general program. All right, Strength Gains 101. Yeah, I tend to do more bodybuilding stuff for my back. I don't like doing heavy. I like to keep the reps high, 12. Want to do the RDLs, those are sets of 12 plus. I rarely go below 10 on those. I will, but it's rare. Good mornings for sure. Sets of 10 and 12 and up. 15, I'll go up to 15 sometimes. I think I got 8 of this and that's it. So that is it. That is 2 exercises, a simple workout. All the workouts are simple. They don't need to be complex. But the form is pretty tight on almost everything I do. You can see that from the squatting, RDLs, good mornings, bent over rows, whatever it is. So there you go, gang. Thanks for checking in. Just a quick shout out to those who wanted to see how bands work with pushing movements. There you go. It's Paul here, Old Guy Lifts. I will see you all next time.